Good evening to DeFiChain News on the 5th July 2023, the news show that provides you with the latest updates on DeFiChain project. If you like the show, then let's go crazy on the like button. It helps the project. Subscribe and click the bell button. Ensure stay until the end because we will discuss the next shows and dates. Afterwards, we will also have some time to answer your questions, so please put them in the chat here. But before we start with the headlines, I would like to welcome my co-moderator and expert of DeFiChain, Lord Mark, back on stage, but not back at home. How are you?
I'm fantastic, DC. Great to be back. Thanks for having me. How are you today?
Great. Wednesday news show, always great. Together with you, even better. And the topics are also
Best day of the week, right? Even better than the weekend.
Yeah, really,
Fantastic.
really.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, we have a lot of interesting topics today, I would say.
Yes. So DeFi Meta Chain is filling up our show more and more. And I would say we start with the headlines and show you what we prepared for today.
Sounds good.
So, headlines for today: DeFi Meta Chain and the impact on DeFiChain. Yeah, one of your question out there. We are answering it today. Then we have DeFi Meta Chain and the updates in the background. Notable mentions, community project and their updates. And last but not least, the future dates. With this, I said it before, title of the show, impact of DeFi Meta Chain on DeFiChain, on DFI price, whatever. Is it positive? Is it negative? I think you can explain a little bit more. How does it look like?
I hope so. Let's try that. Yeah. So a lot of people are asking themselves, so what's the hype about DeFi Meta Chain? Why should I be concerned about it? Why should it help the project? Is this not just some marketing buzzword out there to kind of convince people to buy more DFI? Fair enough to ask these questions. I think we put a couple of really good answers, I think, to these questions together. And you were so nice to prepare also a little slide. And maybe we start with the slide and we go through the points and talk a little bit about how does DeFi Meta Chain as a completely new layer on DeFiChain impact in the future, the base layer, the DFI price. Is DFI actually still important? Because I think a lot of people might think, okay, that's a new thing, right? So, okay, let's talk about that. So you were so amazing and put it in 4 categories here. So let's start with the first one. So in the past, DFI was held for different reasons. And these reasons, of course, are not going away. But we're also going to need more DFI in the future, because what we should not forget is that DFI is kind of the energy, the necessary thing that we need for every transaction. So without DFI, there are no transactions on DeFi Meta Chain. And that's very important. If you think that there are a lot of projects coming on DeFi Meta Chain now, they're all going to use DFI as gasoline in some way to make the transactions happen, and will be in high demand, of course. So another good thing is, imagine 1 million new people come on DeFi Meta Chain. They maybe haven't been in touch with DeFiChain. Now they need all DFI to do their transactions. So it means DFI gets distributed across a lot of new wallets. More and more people going to hold it, and more people going to use it. So that's a very, very positive impact for sure on DFI as our old kind of token. Even this DFI token is a token on DeFi Meta Chain, but let's call it in general more use of DFI through DeFi Meta Chain transactions. And then there are going to be a ton of new products, right? There are going to be new DEXs. Different projects are building new DEXs where you can swap tokens or exchange tokens and trade tokens. And like we all know, on decentralized exchanges, you need pool pairs, and these pool pairs attract a lot of liquidity because you can only trade in these decentralized exchanges if there are liquidity pool pairs set up, and they're going to bind a lot of DFI most likely as well, or other tokens that we've been using on DeFiChain. So that also high demand for DFI, additional utility for DFI, and that's in some way a very, very positive impact on the ecosystem. And then there are going to be new projects. They say, okay, we issue a new utility token. Maybe you're interested in buy one. So the old ICOs are kind of a story from the past. Now these things are done a little bit different. There will be some kind of purchase models where the original token gets burned. Imagine you pay dUSD or DFI and you receive on the other side through the smart contract the new utility token from that project, and the old token gets destroyed. Why is this fantastic? Because the tokenomics shift. That means, let's say we have 10 million DFI flying around, and now 5 of these 10 million get burned because somebody wants a new utility token. That means less supply is available, and less supply is always normally a good thing, because what is rare gets more expensive, right? And the price goes up. And that's for sure a very, very good thing for DFI and for dUSD. And then also our D tokens that we have, or our wrapped tokens on DeFi chain like dBTC and dEthereum, they can be most likely also used on DeFi Meta Chain. So also more use for these old friends that we have on our base layer. So it's the old is very, very much needed for the new. So it's the basis and it's the foundation. And that's why the more projects come in, the more and more demand will be for these good old tokens or coins on DeFi chain.
Yeah, great, thanks. Maybe the one or other addition. I put some links in the show notes regarding 2 tweets. One is from Shadows Crypto about these transaction fees, why it will raise this or increase the demand. Very, very good written. Have a look. Also the idea of company treasuries, are they holding DFI and what does it mean? And the second tweet is regarding DFI burn. Julian posted it with Birthday Research with the ads token as one example. So if you want to place your advertisement on the Light Wallet, you have to get the ads token, you have to buy it, but the DFI or dUSD you used for are burned. That's behind. So if you're interested in, have a look there. Maybe also just additional comment regarding the transaction fees. What we are not used on DeFi chain is every action, every interaction with a smart contract is a transaction. So if you want to get your liquidity mining rewards, you have to claim it. The claim is a transaction. So in general, we will have more transactions for the same thing like on DeFi chain. And this also will generate more transaction fees.
Yeah. Fantastic addition. It's like, I just want to say, it's like on Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
So everybody who is in Ethereum, you're gonna experience the same experience. You're gonna experience the same but cheaper. Absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that were our thoughts regarding the impact, the potential impact. It's strongly linked to the projects for sure. Maybe we missed the one or other thing. Yeah, maybe there's a 5th category. So please put everything in the show notes we are missing, so that we get an overall picture. Yeah, why is DeFi Meta Chain useful or beneficial for DeFi chain? Would be interesting what you are thinking about. And with this outlook to the DeFi price based on DeFi Meta Chain, we come to DeFi Meta Chain itself and the updates. What is happening? What happened the last week on this side?
Yeah, heavy testing is ongoing at the moment. So like everybody knows out there, DeFi Meta Chain testnet is live since some time, and a lot of people try to make stuff on it, and they also try to break stuff. What is actually really amazing, because there are so many things that have to be figured out. I want to mention maybe 2 things that are happening or that happened. There was a monster block created. I was laughing so much when I heard the monster block, but it is a monster. 2,000 transactions have been packed into one single block. It's quite a big number, I think. And the guys from my DeFi chain performed this little stunt out there. And I think it's really interesting to see what's possible in one block. You mentioned there are going to be so many more transactions on DeFi Meta Chain. So it's important that DeFi Meta Chain is also capable of handling all these transactions. And I think 2,000 in one block is fantastic. If we think that a block, the block time on average is around 30 seconds. So high throughput. So a lot of stuff can happen in there in parallel. And then Kügi did a kind of a little bit similar activity. He's tried to send as many transactions from one single address into one block, and he succeeded to do 10 transactions in one block. So I think he challenged the community out there and said also who can put more transactions from one single address into one block. And he's also currently working on a pull request to set the limit to 64 transactions per block from a single address, right? I think the idea behind that is most likely that you cannot spam from one address the network so much. So yeah, these are ideas not in some way they want to show the capability of DeFi Meta Chain, of course, and also we want to see, does the whole system just get stuck if there are too many transactions coming in? But so far, nothing could stop the system. So that's for sure a very positive thing. And then we have a couple of projects that are already building on DeFi Meta Chain. So of course, they're building on DeFi Meta Chain testnet. Sooner or later, they're going to move over to DeFiChain mainnet. Maybe worth mentioning a project from a company called OpenDeps Cloud. They unleashed their new project.
Unleashed is the name of the company.
Okay. Unleashed wants to launch a DMC testnet as well. And what they are doing is a completely new thing. They are gonna issue a website builder. So as I think the websites are also gonna run decentralized on the blockchain, what means you're not going to host it on a normal web server, and you're also not going to have a normal domain. Most likely it's going to be a project here on DeFi Meta Chain. I don't know, do you have any idea? Are they kind of working together with the with the DeFiChain domains, or are they launching
the information is really rare so far. Yeah?
It's okay.
More decentralized way. They are focusing also more on this payment model and registration side, that you don't need a kind of email address and server. So everything more
so it's gonna be through wallet addresses. What is similar like the other guys doing with the DeFiChain domains. So follow them. There's a tweet if you want to know more. Follow them on Twitter if you want to see what they're working. It's all in the show notes. And then OpenDeps Cloud updated the infrastructure to the latest beta 4 node software. Also more information in a couple of tweets that we link up on the show notes. Then you can follow along what they are working on. Good. And DeFi Bets, really nice project also. Showed the first version of their web interface, also in a tweet. So everything is happening on Twitter, and this.
And also tell about your building on DeFi Meta Chain testnet. Then we come to our regular points, notable mentions. So what else happened this week?
I think we should really talk about the latest voting round for CFPs and DFIPs. The so-called on-chain governance voting round. This round is running around to the 19th of July, so that's roughly 2 weeks. Participation is pretty lame so far, so if you are a masternode owner, maybe it would be fantastic if you dedicate some time, have a look what projects are there that you want to support, what projects that you don't want to support, or maybe you also have no opinion, then vote like neutral. Some of the fees, or 50% of the fees, are going to be distributed to the masternode holders, so there's a little incentive there as well. And a lot more participation is really welcome, because the more people vote, the clearer is the picture. What do the masternode holders actually want? And you guys, you're controlling the project. You guys can steer it in the right direction. So please have a look there. That would be absolutely amazing. And we had on Uniswap about a year ago, we distributed 1 million DFI to liquidity mining holders there, to people who were actually providing liquidity on the pool pairs DFI Ethereum, DFI Tether, and DFI USDC. So actually 3 pool pairs. The supply is running low. The million DFI is more or less distributed. Now it's really about claiming your rewards, and then there's only so-called real yield. So the transaction fees that are gonna be distributed amongst the liquidity miners or liquidity providers. Just keep that in mind if you participate on Uniswap there, that you have, if you have DFIs there in some pair, that you don't miss out on something. These are the notable mentions for this week, DC.
Okay, then we will have a look on community projects and what's happened on this side. Not the DMC community projects. Now we are focusing on the old school projects. No, also a lot of things are happening here.
Yeah, these are indeed a little bit the older projects. Even there's also a lot of new stuff happening. So let's start about first Paddy InTheMarket. He has his podcast and he has his newsletter. There was a new newsletter released with several topics. Actually, a lot of the stuff that we mentioned, he describes in his newsletter, and is going a little bit deeper there sometimes. Let me just read out a couple of the topics: OpenDeps Cloud and DFI price, Nuco Cloud and DMC, DeFi Bets version 1 design released, and DeFiChain max it to the first place, wherever the first place was. And DeFiChain announces of mainnet masternode software and hard fork date. So read and subscribe to the newsletter if you're interested in it. There's a German version, there's an English version. For sure, a really good overview what's happening. Different sources, then you miss nothing. And of course, he has a podcast. The podcast is also streamed live. Oh no, it's not streamed live, but it's actually uploaded to YouTube, so you can see the two guys in action. This time there was Lars Berger that we mentioned before from DeFi Bets, interviewed by Paddy, and they talk a little bit about who is Lars Berger, what's the project all about. Really nice to watch. Check that out. The Chain Report. Chain Report is a tool that helps you to track your rewards and helps you also to pay your taxes truthfully, what is always welcome, especially I'm sure the the different governments out there are really happy if you pay your taxes, so do so. They did a lot of integration for the Jelly wallet now, integration of native blockchains, MetaMask. So that paves the way for Jellyverse and for all the DMC integrations. And they have a coin tracking wallet import. Sounds really scary, but for sure they make it really, really easy to use. And it's a fantastic tool to help you that you not miss any transactions and report them truthfully. Then there's some sad news. DFX announced kind of out of the blue that they are taking their DeFiChain on and off ramp offline. Whatever the reason is, we don't know more than you guys out there. There's a tweet that came online quite late German time yesterday. It's linked up there. Just pay attention to it if you're using their service, that certain services or especially their on-off ramp service is not available anymore. Check it out and see if you are impacted by these changes. Then Küge and Krish from Vault Maxi, they have released some new stuff. They're always very, very active in doing so. They have a tool to simulate and set up your vault on native DeFiChain and see some information about it. Now you can see collateral and loan distribution, what is possible and what is not, plus liquidation information, how much your collateral would need to drop or loan need to increase in order to run into liquidation. That's really cool. Nobody wants to be liquidated, and they're making it easier and easier to run a vault, right? It's actually funny. Nobody's talking about vaults anymore, right? This is so old, such an old topic, but still so important because I think, especially the OGs are having vaults out there, and the tool makes it so much easier. Now we can also set customized prices for each token and see how they impact your vault. Go to vaultmaxi.live/tool/vault simulator DC. We're gonna link that, put the link in the show notes. Check it out. That's a fantastic tool. Thank you so much for doing all that work. That's it for the old school community projects this year.
Yeah, still a lot of things are happening there. Great
And
to have them all, bringing some value, utility to our complete ecosystem. Great, nearly the end. Let's have an outlook. What's coming next year?
Nearly the end. That sounds so dramatic, right? This is the end.
No.
There's so much coming. Little joke on the side. Yeah, what's coming next? News show next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'm gonna be back in the studio.
Okay.
So we're gonna have the nice blue background, so everything's gonna be much more professional again. Then we are still waiting on the latest and greatest tech talk, DC, but no date so far, right?
No, not really clear when. Depends on different topics. My workload and also the developers. When they have time. When is mainnet launch? Always busy. It's really hard to find their slot, but we will manage it. Pretty sure.
It will manage, and then sooner or later there's gonna be a new tech talk. A new fireside chat as well. I think it's time in July, the next one. DC, that's it for the talk. That's it for the dates.
Then thanks for joining in your vacation, the show. Great to have you here. It's always more fun doing it together.
Very welcome, DC.
And
I feel always bad to leave you alone here in the studio.
Content-wise, no problem. We will manage it. Each one of us, if one is missing together, it's more fun. Have a good traveling back to Singapore, and then see you soon here with green screen and then without background. So old studio, great to have you here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Everyone out there, if you are live, then put your question now in the chat. We have a couple of minutes left. If not, thanks for watching. Give us a like, and then see you soon here on the channel with the news show, latest next week, with the updates on DeFiChain, DeFi Meta Chain, and what's always around going on. With this, have a great time. Bye bye. Okay, here we are, and I have to place the chat entries. Christian Pedersen is again here, as usual.
Drum roll.
No doubt dUSD. Hi guys, where's the dUSD price? We nearly reached the 50 cents, so we made a big progress towards the $1. But I have no clue where it is. So that's, you see how I'm tracking the things.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You are in vacation. Rhodium is here, and the question he has: does anyone want to air the DFX Swiss behavior? What should I say? It was a very short announcement without any clue why. Nothing to say.
I know nothing. We read it yesterday on Twitter. No idea what's happening there. There might be some reasons. They haven't been disclosed. Reach out to them, ask them. I don't know anything more.
That's all in the chat, Mark. Sounds like every question answered.
Answered. Fantastic. Yeah, if there are no more questions, then we would say let's have dinner.
Yeah, right. You are now in my time zone. Dinner is waiting. If you have any ideas of the benefit DeFi Meta Chain, again, put them in the chat, and we adapt our picture. And with this, see you soon here on the channel next week, Wednesday, with the latest updates on DeFiChain and DeFi Meta Chain. Have a great time.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.